What? Oh, where can I put this? Where's the can? Okay, let me put this over here. Ah, perfection. What is going on YouTube? How much of a wreck is my kitchen right now? Not too bad. Let me jump onto YouTube here so I can actually make some comments. I think I definitely like having my screen the other way because I can't resist looking at myself in my cell phone, which is stupid, but anyways, what is going on, people? It is Friday night. We are having an exciting evening at the apartment, preparing for a potential money pit or maybe a gold mine. I'm not really sure. Let me go ahead and link what I'm talking about. It would be a little bit of a project. It's not running right now, unfortunately, but I have faith that it will run. I mean, that's not really the question. The question isn't really will it run. The question is what is it going to take for me to get it there? It's kind of the question. Yes, indeed, an Xt350 is a dual sport motorcycle. I definitely don't need one. It's really more of a want, but I want one. So it's to be perfectly honest, the biggest reason that I have for getting one. It's not for playing in the dirt. It's not for going to the grocery store or having fun. All of those things I think are good reasons to buy a motorcycle. But traffic, I don't have like the worst. Yeah, I mean, do I really have to replace the gaskets? Does a gasket get old just sitting for 8 years? It's not the newest gasket in the world, that's for sure. I mean, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do a top end rebuild. I don't really want to tear apart the transmission per se. To be honest, I don't even want to tear out the top end. Maybe that's something I should consider before I make this purchase, but dry out and leak everywhere. Well, that's no good. There are parts available for this motorcycle, so that is kind of nice. It's not the most impossible thing to find, but it has this quirky feature where it has two carbs. It has like a low speed carb, and then which is, I believe, throttle actuated, and then the high speed carb I think is more vacuum actuated, or maybe the other. I think I have that right. I know that seems strange, but Yamaha, in their infinite wisdom, put two carbs on this bike because, two carbs is better, right? I mean, it has to be. Yeah, it's kind of a quirky bike. I was recently watching a video and this guy was talking about how the dual exhaust or the dual kind of headers, even though it's a single cylinder, only open at certain speeds or throttle inputs, and that could be kind of an interesting thing too if that's going to be like a vacuum actuated dealie. But we'll see. $750R. Like a Honda 750R? I don't know if there's more than one type of 750R. I'm sure whatever it was fun. What's up, Will? What's going on, man? Just talking about motorcycles, talking about doing work on motorcycles. But yeah, so I want to avoid having to leave so early for work and kind of wasting my time just like in front of work, like doing nothing. Because if I leave, I start at 4 p.m., but if I leave later, if I leave at like 3 o'clock, it'll take me, an hour to get there. So maybe If I leave at 3 o'clock, I don't even know if I would get to work by 4. I'd probably be pulling into the parking lot at like 4:10. So I want to be able to leave 40 minutes before work and get to work and know that I'm going to be able to get to work. And with a motorcycle, you can split lanes and you can ride in the carpool lane, so you kind of have a couple of advantages from that standpoint. But what is going on with you people these days? Anything new in your prepper lives or normal lives? I know a lot of people are probably busy having dinner now. It's probably like the worst time to start a video from nothing. Race by YZF 750R. Okay. That, yeah, that was before the FZR, right? Or, well, the YZF is the more standard one, like the slightly more upright riding position. Yeah, still a really cool bike though. Really, really sporty, fun bike. Very similar to my Katana, except newer and faster, I'm sure. Well, that is a good point, Brian. It is. It's not. I guess everywhere in the world isn't California time, right? Speaking of what time it is, today we're drinking some Wolf Pup Session IPA, which is a very, very lovely brew made here in Los Angeles, California, believe it or not. I didn't really go out of my way to get a LA beer, but it's okay. I don't love all IPAs. Sometimes they're kind of a little bit too much, but in general, I find them pretty enjoyable. Well, I know, Brian. Yeah, I know. But the thing is, I have, pretty solid job in California right now, so we'll see. Maybe I just need two houses. Maybe I just need like land. Instead of buying a $200,000 house in California, maybe I should buy four $50,000 houses because I think I would get more tax write-ups for the interest on the mortgage, right? Maybe I should do that. I remember a few years ago, I was working for a real estate company, and we were selling homes for 5 grand in Atlanta. Now, this might have been not the nicest part of Atlanta, but yeah, no, I tell you, Brian, I was looking at this property. I don't know where it was for sale. I think it was on like Bid for Assets or something like that, an online property marketplace. And I tried to get like a title record of the, I tried to get like a property search, something like a history. I don't know if it was a title search. Maybe it was a title search. Like a city, I think it was a city, like not the assessor's office, but like the superior court. It was like a legal check of all the history of everything that had been recorded against the title. And the request didn't really work. But long story short, I was kind of thinking, what would it be like to put a bunch of tools onto like a suitcase, right? And then jump on a plane and go like fly to Atlanta, and go buy a house out there. I think that would be kind of crazy. You could do it, but I think you'd just be too rushed, like with the inspections and all the stuff that you have to do. I mean, maybe if you looked at 40 houses and you found a couple that you were kind of interested in, you could have a realtor, kind of take it on from there. But I just don't know. Even having experience in real estate and construction, I can tell that trying to go somewhere for a weekend and buy a house is kind of like, I think you could do it if you had some experience, if you knew some people, if you had your logistics and everything all planned out, you had the trip planned out. You can't be meeting for coffee with your realtor at like 1 o'clock p.m. Like you need to hit the road at like 9 o'clock and hit a bunch of houses. But these days with pictures and Google Street View, you can kind of, I mean, nothing's the same as doing a property inspection, but you get a pretty decent idea of what's going on with the property. Wow, that's too much, man. I don't know. I can buy a house for $600,000 in California. In fact, I'm looking at an area near my work, and even there, 3 bedrooms are going for like 450, 500, 600. It's oh, it's too much money. It's too much money, brother. Way too much money. But it would be cool to have some houses. You know, I wouldn't mind flying out and doing a little bit of work myself. I mean, I don't know. It's such a. The thing is, the one thing I know about investment properties is that anytime you're doing something at arm's length, um, everything is harder. You know, finding and my hair just will not cooperate right now. Um, finding a handyman, dealing with utility people, all that stuff is kind of a bit of a headache. I know where Di Bullfrog wants me to buy property. Go to the tax sales, right? Tax lien sales. I just, I did sign up for one of those tax sale notifications, like the LA County Assessor's Office or something. Damn, Brian, that sounds nice. That sounds really nice, actually. Northern Georgia. Yeah, I mean, I think once you have every, and forgive me, I'm eating, I'm kind of hungry, but once you have it set up and you find a handyman, you have a realtor, maybe you have a property manager, you kind of interacted with the tenants. I don't think owning property out of state is prohibitive, especially with email and, cell phones and stuff like that. But it's nice, if I own this property out of state and I want to put new carpet in, I got to pay somebody to put new carpet in. If I own a property an hour away from me or in my neighborhood, then like a rental property, then I don't, I can maybe not put in the carpet, but I could do some demo, I could get it ready. Are you really moving to Georgia? No kidding. I want to see videos of that property, Brian. It's going to be nice. 5 acres is enough to ride a dirt bike in circles around on. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I mean, I think with an acre, if you're a somewhat decent farmer, you can grow a pretty healthy amount of food and raise some chickens and stuff. A couple acres, you're doing 5 acres. 5 acres is like you can't see your neighbors depending on where you are in your property. Maybe like that's really nice. That's awesome, man. I hope you can get something like that out there. What's up, Steve? Oh, eating ramen because I'm a rich guy now, working full time. I can afford the high life. Wow, is that 2 hours each way, Brian? Oh my gosh, that's something, brother. No, that's a bit of a drive, but you spend a lot of time at home too, so may as well have a nice home. I mean, the drive to wouldn't be too bad, but after a full day of construction, then driving home, you're exhausted, presumably. Um, I think so, Steve. Yeah, I think I've kept like some of the beans and grains and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that keeps a little more long term. Yeah, you and a couple other people were very thoughtful in those packages. I have the flashlight from maybe an older package in my car, along with my that Kershaw, nice Kershaw. Thank you again for that. Still my favorite knife. I could carry it at work, but I just feel weird. I mean, there's like a bunch of people that work with their hands all day, kind of, a lot of, I see people carry folding blades in their pockets, but It's worth it when the weekend comes. Yeah, I can understand that. You know, just being quiet. I remember before I came to San Diego. I was in San Diego before LA. I lived up in kind of a rural area south of San Jose, and so this we lived in this like 3 bedroom house, and the owner had like 5 or 6 acres. He had a little pond. You know, he had a some horses, some like dogs. There were ducks in the pond, stuff like that. But I just remember how quiet it was. Like there wasn't helicopters. You rarely heard sirens, like road noise, dogs barking. I think my neighbor had a dog that didn't really like us, but it was really peaceful. It was kind of so quiet. It made you kind of, I wouldn't, shocking is not the right word, but it was alarmingly peaceful, I would say. Just, it's, because you don't really expect that at home. You expect that like out in the forest or out in the meadow or something, but you don't expect to go home and kind of feel like you're living like in the country. It was really really nice. I can't wait to have some decent amount of property someday, and unfortunately, it's probably not going to be, at least not in the Metro California, but it's okay. Did you, Brian? Oh my gosh, what kind of content do you have, Brian? I mean, I know you're talking to Steve. I don't mean to eavesdrop, but I can read the chat, so forgive me. And actually, I forgot how hard it is to find. Oh, that's right. Okay. Let's try that. What is going on with Brian Morlock's channel? My dog went nuts. Okay. Tubing on Labor Day with Belgian Malinois. Well, that's a big old dog. Messed up day at work. Uh-oh. Gotta watch out for those. Cool, man. Keep putting up content. I want to see it. I want to see some prepping content. I mean, not like I can really, not like I can really say anything. But, oh my gosh, the tubing looks fun. Like your dog across you. Barking at the wind. Looks like a very alert dog. Monte Carlo SS, that's a cool car. Yeah, it would be nice to have some land, and the thing I like about Georgia and Atlanta, it rains a lot down there, so it's really green. Like, not everything likes that much water as far as growing, but it's now the humidity when it's hot can be, it can be something. You kind of have to deal with it, kind of like the dry heat, but it's a very lush, like it's not like a rainforest, but it's very definitely more like Oregon or New Zealand or Scotland than like Tucson. California is more like Tucson. Yes, that's true, Uncle Al. There are a lot of bugs, and bugs do like me, unfortunately. But what are you gonna do? Mutual Assurance Group. Oh, is that like a? Okay, I have no idea what a mutual assurance group is. I don't know if that's like a prepping thing or like in kind of a, yeah. I mean, you don't have to explain it. Guess I'm just thinking out loud. Like a group of people that would kind of watch your back if things got crazy, or anyways, a group of people and you. The ground is saturated in water. Well, yeah, that's kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah, I don't. I do kind of enjoy a little construction stuff, but the biggest thing I remember about construction is since I was kind of newer and a lot of the jobs I worked, it was always like, can you do this? Can I trust you to do this? Do you know how to use a nail gun? Do you know how to take a measurement? Can you cut a piece of plywood in a square or rectangle or whatever, or an angle? Can you cut, it wasn't really every day. It was just kind of like, do you know what you're doing or not? I kind of felt like because I was a temp company, so I was always working with like different people. So it was a little bit kind of hard. But other than that, interesting stuff. Like-minded people. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I keep thinking about local stuff, prepping related wise. I really should try to make a few more local friends. It is, kind of hard, especially since I never leave the house. I just work and do errands and stuff on the weekends. But in LA, well, I know, I mean, not everyone that's living in LA is all about, fashion and I don't know, Netflix and Facebook. Cool, Brian. Very cool. Yeah, so man, this bike, very tempting. There's another one. There's a nicer dual sport, like a DRZ 400, but he wants 1,800 bucks for it. 1,800, no low ballers, So I don't know if I'm ready to drop 1,800 on a bike. I don't know. I don't. I probably shouldn't buy this bike. It's probably going to be a nightmare. But I mean, if it turns over, I feel like if it turns over and everything's there, shouldn't be too bad. A couple carb rebuild kits, maybe a piston, or not a piston kit, a top end gasket kit. I really don't want to mess with the cam chain, to be honest. But Steve, I don't want to switch jobs right now, Steve. There's too much potential at my job for, not necessarily for my growth. I mean, I think there is potential for that, but the company, it's a resume builder at a minimum. And I like what I do. I'm passionate about what I do right now. But yeah, I mean, look, I would live in the worst part of the country if I had a good job. Oh wait, I'm in LA. I'm just kidding. But well, exactly. I'm not paying a ludicrous amount of money for rent. I am saving up money now, thank God. Trust me, Bullfrog. Trust me, Uncle Al. The house owning a house has been on my mind for like the last 10 years. Honestly, it's not like I started thinking about it yesterday. One of the reasons I love working in real estate, so I could learn about home buying and try to make a good decision for the future. Yes, it's gonna be a bit of money I have to save for the house. Get my I don't have bad credit, but I just don't really use credit cards a lot, so I got a credit card just to use it recently actually. WCAM Studios, what is going on? One of my favorite truth speakers. If you guys, if all three of you besides him haven't checked out his channel, you should check it out. Well, I tell you what, Uncle Al, if I had an ultralight plane or a light sport plane and I could fly an hour to work every day each way, I would do it. Maybe an hour and 15 minutes, but because there's an airport right next to where I work. So I could fly to the airport, park there, and I think I called them. I think they said if you buy 5 gallons of gas, you park for free during the day. So, I mean, who doesn't want to fly to work, right? I mean, come on. How can you not want to fly to work? I think flying to work would be the best. What has WCAM been up to? I know you're always getting into stuff. You're you're kind of like me. When you talk about things, you're kind of like How is this so messed up? How is this even possible that it's this messed up in California? But yeah, always in your car, WCAM. Frequently, anyways, if you travel a lot. Yeah, hepatitis outbreaks in downtown LA. Oh my gosh, was this like an in character video? You know, WCAM, they have this very insidious way of merging all the homeless people into the downtown area. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but people say like, oh, San Francisco has a lot of homeless people, and the reason is that they're in Seattle, San Francisco, New York, is that when they get out of the suburbs, the cops arrest them and take them back to county. They don't, there's like an unwritten rule that if you have a nice neighborhood, you don't let homeless people just hang around and do whatever. I'm not saying I would call the police on a homeless person unless they were like sick or, you know. I called the police the other day because the guy was in the street. The guy was in the middle of the street. He had his shoes off and he was like coming towards my car. Like, I was like, dude, please don't like kick my car. I don't, like, I was going to work. I really didn't want to deal with having to wait for the police. All this garbage, you know, just didn't want to deal with it. I haven't left the ground since '99. Not a big fan of flying, really. We got a nice small airport here. I'm sure you do that, Bullfrog. Helicopter? No, I helicopters are a little more expensive. Homeless people move to opportunity. Well, I think they tend to live where they don't get arrested every night. If you're trying to be homeless in Pasadena, you're gonna get stopped all the time and talked to by the police. If you're ever drunk, urinating in public, trespassing, loitering, I don't know, whatever. They're gonna not say they're gonna arrest you every time. Paragliders a little slow, a little bit slow. They're cool, but they're a little slow. I'm thinking more like a, you know, stick and rudder wing elevators, that kind of stuff. The worst month you've ever had? Oh, WCAM. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I am sorry to hear that. What are you in like Northern California or like Sonoma area? Are you all around California, WCM? Or are you like Central Valley, California? I can't remember if you travel for work or I get the sense you're always like moving around somewhere. 13,000 subscribers. Man, I am in the presence of greatness right now. We are all in the presence of greatness. Great truth speaker. San Francisco and the rising violence. Well, I don't know if San Francisco has ever had decreasing violence. San Francisco is the only city where I would drive home into a part of southern San Francisco. There'd be police tape up on one of the blocks at least once a week. Um, my friend's sister was car mugged twice. So they came up to the car and said, "Give me your wallet," with a gun twice. I was at a Taco Bell KFC down the street and somebody got shot on the bus, getting off the bus. First time I've ever heard gunshots, like real close to me in real life. San Francisco. So yeah, San Francisco is a shithole. Sad to say, but there are a lot of areas where it's very cutty. People quietly disappearing. That's some scary stuff, WCM. I'm gonna watch that video later. I'll add it to my watch later. Alright, back to the chat. I'm falling behind here. Thank you, Mark, for the Merry Christmas. Your new caravan neighbors to show up. Oh, are you near the border? Well, if there's anything I can do, WCM, to make life better, man, just give me a holler, brother. Send an email. I think on my contact page there's an email if you ever want to shoot an email. Central Valley, okay. Yeah, you're in Mad Max zone over there, man. Definitely, like, I wouldn't say Texas Chainsaw Massacre level, but some crazy shit. Crazy stuff goes on. California, people don't realize California is like, there's a lot of intense stuff that goes on, not just in the cities, but in the rural areas, farms, crazy, crazy stuff. Pony boys, I don't even know what that means. But see you later, Steve, man. Take it easy. Yeah, Central Valley is fun times, for sure. So let's see, prepping wise, what do we got going on? Water, food. I need to kind of, the new year, need to kind of look at like a new plan. I think one of my biggest weaknesses, food wise, is not really cooking a lot of beans and grains and rice and stuff like that. It's kind of a hassle to boil the water and like watch it for like an hour or whatnot. So I think, I don't know, I got to get maybe a bigger pot or something. Because I'm not necessarily going to go to the trouble for like, like 3 cups of rice or 4 cups of rice or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't blame you, Uncle Al. I know Uncle Al has been through some interesting life experiences, without a doubt. But yeah, so I'm going to look at this motorcycle tomorrow. I'm very tempted to pick it up. He only wants 600, 750 for it. Granted, it's going to need some carb work, probably some gasket work, but gets like 70 miles per gallon. Maybe it'll get like 50 or 60 if it's a little bit more beat up. I need something to get, something kind of fun, something. Yeah, it's kind of prepper related, but I'm not. It's so hard to carry any amount of stuff on a motorcycle. Like if I just only took my food, water, and like firearms, it would be ridiculously overloaded. So bugging out on the bike, maybe not the most reliable plan. Bugging out with the bike, like with the car, maybe a better plan. Is that like pre-cooked rice or like partially cooked rice? So I don't think normal rice takes 15 minutes. I thought normal rice took like a little bit longer. What do I think about people living in vans and acting like it's cool? Yeah, I mean, if you want to park on the street in the city I live in, you got to pay $5 a night. Um, if I could park, I mean, I think there was a guy where I work actually living in his like truck or whatever, parking overnight. If you're really trying to save money, like, we want to do it for a few months or a year or something like that, I can kind of understand it. But permanently, I don't know about permanently. It's not. It's a little difficult to live with all your. Not like you need all of stuff. You don't need that much stuff, but you have a lot less variety. You can see a lot of stuff. You can walk around a lot of places. Maybe you can bring a bicycle and a surfboard, maybe even a dirt bike or something. But what's up, RG? But the thing is, you're going to be kind of limited in your options, in certain options. Like, you can't have a bunch of different crazy hobbies. Maybe you can play frisbee as a hobby, but you can't like necessarily drag a kayak and a canoe, and you're kind of limited on space and amount of stuff you can carry around. Not to mention the fact that always having to find somewhere to park is not as easy as people think it is. Trust me, California has already. God damn. I was gonna say, I hope that's not like. Wait, every day? Or like sometimes? Every day, dude, that's a lot of weight to be having on your back. I mean, you do what you gotta do, but. Alright, well, maybe we'll have some rice cooking videos coming up, Brian. I do miss doing cooking videos, to be honest. Especially since I'm such a terrible goddamn chef. I'm not terrible, I don't put a lot of, haven't, not the best cook. Well, I can say one thing for sure. If I get the bike and I'm leaning relatively strongly towards it because I want something fun to do on the weekends. Mostly just I have a lot of time on the weekends. There's not Yeah, I could work on my skills, I could go for some hikes, but that's kind of the other thing is that I want to like use the motorcycle to scout it and my car is kind of um did you really die bullfrog? My car's not on its last legs, but the transmission's been doing a little bit of funny stuff recently, and I just kind of want a backup vehicle so I don't have to worry about stuff. But there might be some hunting in the future. I don't know how much video of hunting I'm really like comfortable putting up online. I'm not really a butcher like a pig on live YouTube. Although it would be a hell of a live stream, like butchering a deer, processing a deer. But that's I don't know if it's against the guidelines because there are plenty of videos of people processing animals on YouTube. But man, 70 pounds of tools, that's too much for me. Not like the R1 cares, but that's a lot of tools. That's heavy. That's a heavy bag. Well, I don't know if I have a lot of enough interesting things to. Have I? No. I mean, the movie, but if it's more than a movie, no, I haven't heard about it, Uncle Al. Did you make a video about it? Yeah, WCM. It really is. Oh, YouTube purge. But yeah, WCAM. It shouldn't be so, difficult to just exist, right? Like even if you go out into the desert, you're on somebody's land, even if it's government land, and if it's government land, maybe you can't stay in the same spot for 2 weeks, and you got to move over here for 2 weeks or whatever. Um, it's kind of surprising how much energy it takes. I don't know if I understand homelessness, but I sort of get that not everyone has enough wherewithal to kind of exist at the non-homeless level of society because it's not I don't consider it easy not to be employed full time and pay your bills on time and do all that stuff. Most people might think like, wow, it's not that hard to just keep a job and pay your bills, but life is crazy. There's a lot of reasons that it's hard to get a job, hard to pay, hard to get a decent income. Everything's competitive. You start making mistakes, credit hits, maybe criminal background stuff. Life can see you, Brian. Life can be challenging for a lot of different reasons. So I try not to look down upon people that struggle to maintain like my same quality of life because it's hard. California is expensive, but even in states that aren't expensive, it's still, if you want an apartment, you basically have to work full time and probably not make a minimum wage. And so, my big loadout is 70 pounds with weapons, ammo, and other supplies, including armor. Okay. Cool, man. Well, listen, I think I'm going to take off. I just kind of wanted to jump on for like a little short video about this bike. Probably will be a giant project. There's a good chance if I pick it up, I might regret it, but they're just so much fun. They're so much fun to ride around. I can't resist. I haven't had a dual sport motorcycle in a really long time. So I had the Katana a few years back. Kind of kept it a little bit nervous about it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this Xt350. But until next time, YouTube, thank you for stopping by. Um, Hopefully everything is well in your life. If not, let me know. Do what I can, which might not be that much, but maybe it's better than nothing. Till next time, like, comment, subscribe, and keep prepping.